Hello.
Hello, good evening. Just making some last minute sharing. Okay. Hope you all are having a good evening. And
Just a little bit of weather comment. Supposedly, a lot of areas are going to have heavy winds. Our area is supposed to damaging winds, so be mindful of that. I don't know if your area will, but we're in the Northeast. Apparently, it's scheduled for us and wherever else.
let's see, shall we just say hello?
Hello to everybody.
Yes, and John Marciano.
John, early bird.
Yep, early bird catches the worm.
Thank you for being there, John.
My good wife, Shauna. Thank you, Shauna,
Thank you,
for all
Shauna.
your help. Dallas.
Hello, Dallas.
Matthew. Jane Spitfire.
Jane.
Willie B.
Willie B.
933. Beverly Harward.
Beverly.
Thank you, Beverly, for joining us. Okay, and others will join.
Yeah.
Debbie said she'll be on shortly. She's in the dining room. So, all right. All right. Yep. My battery's low. Yeah, she's always got a low battery.
Huh.
But anyway, so.
Not charging.
And
I'm not charging.
The theme tonight is Gnosis, your divine knowing. I don't know how many of you have done any research on Gnosis, but we do, and it's just another avenue that we like to.
How do you know?
What, another avenue?
How do you know?
Oh, how do you know?
How do you know?
It's Gnosis.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point is, well, I know because my parents told me. Oh, no, I know because I learned in first grade, second grade, third grade. My teachers. Anyone who's gone to grade school, it basically, we've been taught because the government wanted us to know that. It's all the government system. And they determined that we should know that information. That's why we know that information. The government decided that. We didn't come up with it. They did. And we do with it whatever we will. And a person goes through their grade school, their high school. For some, that's it. They'll stop. They stop schooling there. For others, they continue to go forward with whatever other education. Could be any kind of education. Technical, intellectual education, technical, mechanical, whatever kind of information. To pick up more information, and then you could say that they know more because they've taken it in. It came apparently from outside of us. But then there's some information that we possess. In other words, no one had to tell me about it. For some, I just discovered it within me. Don't ask me how, any more than anyone discovered anything else about themselves, because they possess something and they don't know what they possess until they discover it. And everybody is somehow varies according to what they discover about what they know. And they go forward with that. Or they go forward with whatever other information that they learned. Because then they say, I learned such and such, and now I know this. And at some point, we reinforce and firm up what we know, and we make that our foundation. This is what I know. This is what I depend on. This is what I value, and the way I value what I value. I stay claim to this information that I was given or that I possess, either way. And they, at that point, they they may choose to stop at that point. I'm, I'm, I'm not interested in going further. I'm stopping here with what I know. I feel that that's enough. I will go forward with this, and I will defend it. I'll benefit from it. I'll promote it to others. I'll, I'll, I'll surround myself with others who know the same information. I won't be around others that know something different because it doesn't fit. And I don't want to make it an adjustment to make information fit. It's what we have to do sometimes. It's like taking on a new job.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, I've got to be responsible for this responsibility and this circumstance, and it's like I don't know about that. Well, we can change that. We can learn. The other person says, no, that's not what I know. I'm going to stick with what I know. I don't believe in going beyond what I know. I don't want to bother myself. Or maybe I feel like I don't think I can. Or I don't believe in that. Even if we don't really know it, we still say, well, I don't believe in that. I believe in something else. All different ways of knowing. And it can be a fluid situation, changing. It's like, well, I knew this before, but it's not. I just don't know that anymore, or I didn't know it before, but I do know it now. It's like I don't know why I believed what I believed. Um, it my views, my understanding have changed drastically for whatever reason. That's our nature. We're learners. We're knowers. We're, um, if we were created in an image, the image of knowing, somebody, whoever was the creator for us, of us, apparently was a learner. Because if we're made in their image, well, I'm a learner. They must be a learner as well. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Not just a possessor of knowledge, but they're a learner. So interesting. You mean my creator or the force that created me was a learning type of entity, creature, being. So I'm a learner like they're a learner. That's interesting. At any rate, this thing called gnosis, and that's just a Greek word. It's a Greek word for knowing, or the ability of knowing. And it's come to mean something in particular. We just thought we'd present this now for your consideration. Not promoting anything, not discounting anything, just information we might need for our lives.
See what you think.
Or not.
And then we're going to show a video, and then we'll do the birthdays, anniversaries, and if anyone wants to come on and briefly share.
Yeah, we'll have room for everyone. And just a point, this contrasts with the organization you might have come from, with many you did come from, Jehovah's Witnesses, who forbid you to know anything outside of the information that they were feeding. You're forbidden. And if you do, you're going to be penalized. So this contrasts with that. We have that ability to be in charge of our own knowing.
Okay, see what you think, and let us know.
Have you ever felt somewhere deep in the fabric of your being, that something fundamental is wrong with the world. Not merely its visible injustices or its political crises, but with the very structure of reality you've been taught to accept. As if there were an invisible curtain separating you from a deeper truth, a truth that the most powerful institutions of humanity work tirelessly to keep hidden. This sensation is not new. More than 2,000 years ago, on the dusty margins of the Nile, and in the secret circles of Alexandria, Gnostic masters whispered a revelation so disturbing that entire empires mobilized to silence it. They spoke of a false god, an impostor architect of this material world, and of a banished feminine wisdom called Sophia, whose memory could shatter the invisible chains keeping humanity imprisoned. The Gnostic philosopher Basilides wrote in the 2nd century that the rulers of this world do not know the mysteries of the true Father, for they dwell in the ignorance they themselves created. In the scriptures discovered at Nag Hammadi in 1945, we find an even bolder statement in the hypostasis of the archons. The reality of the authorities emerges from the blind faith of those who obey them. These words echo across the centuries, reaching you in this moment, carrying a question that could transform everything. What if the religious system that has dominated the Western world for millennia is not the path to divinity, but precisely that which separates us from it? In this exploration, we will descend together into the depths of knowledge that has been buried, burned, and slandered for centuries. We will examine the figure of the demiurge, the false creator whom the Gnostics identified as humanity's true adversary, and his network of archons, the invisible rulers who maintain the matrix of control through earthly institutions. But even more importantly, we will rediscover Sophia, the feminine divine wisdom whose suppression coincides exactly with the rise of the patriarchal structures that shaped our civilization. What you are about to discover is not conspiracy theory, but sacred cosmology, not disbelief, but faith in something far vaster and truer than you have ever been permitted to imagine. In the winter of 1945, an Egyptian peasant named Muhammad Ali al-Samman was digging for natural fertilizer near a rock formation known as Jabal al-Tarif when his pickaxe struck something solid. It was a sealed ceramic jar, nearly 6 feet tall. Inside, he found 13 papyrus codices bound in leather, containing 52 texts that had been deliberately hidden in the 4th century after Christ. These were the forbidden Gospels, the heretical scriptures that the early church had condemned to total destruction. What Muhammad Ali had discovered was the most dangerous spiritual library of antiquity, the Nag Hammadi texts, which would reveal to the modern world the suppressed Gnostic vision of reality. These texts painted a cosmos radically different from that preached in the pulpits of power. At the center of this cosmology stood the demiurge, a Greek word meaning craftsman or creator. But this was not the supreme and benevolent God you know from canonical scriptures. In Gnostic texts like the Apocryphon of John, the demiurge is described as Yaldabaoth, an ignorant and arrogant being who created the material world as a prison for souls of light. His opening declaration is shocking in its arrogance. "I am God, and there is no other besides me." This is the same jealous God of the Old Testament, but now seen not as the ultimate creator, but as a usurper, a cosmic tyrant, who confused his own limited creation with the totality of existence. The Gnostic vision proposed that above this false creator existed the true pleroma, the divine fullness, a realm of pure light inhabited by emanations of the true and ineffable God, the Aeons. And among these Aeons shone Sophia, whose name means wisdom in Greek. Sophia was the bridge between the divine and the material, the last of the emanations before the fall that would generate our imperfect world. In her desire to know the ineffable Father directly without the mediation of her divine consort, she performed an act of independent creation. Exclusive limited time offer, 85% off the entire Hidden Codex collection. Receive the wisdom of all 24 volumes and, as an unmissable bonus, the 7 frequencies of manifestation, a journey with the Sophia Codex. Click the link in the description and in the first comment. From this unbalanced passion was born the demiurge, a deformed creature, incomplete, without the full spark of the divine. Ashamed, Sophia hid him beyond the veil, where he could not see the true light of the pleroma. And there, in his ignorance, Yaldabaoth began to create. The demiurge was not alone in his work of domination. He generated the archons, spiritual entities serving as agents of control and limitation. In the hypostasis of the archons, these beings are described as authorities over the darkness, and their role is to keep human souls trapped in the cycle of reincarnation in matter, preventing the return to the pleroma. The Gnostics did not see these archons as mere philosophical abstractions, but as real forces operating through earthly hierarchies. This is the crucial connection many hesitate to make today. If the archons are the invisible rulers of darkness, who are their visible representatives in the material world? For the early Gnostics, the answer was clear. Any system demanding blind obedience, suppressing direct knowledge of the divine in favor of institutional mediation, threatening eternal punishment for questioning, was operating under archonic influence. The true archon is not the person, but the system of thought that perpetuates separation between humanity and divinity, that transforms direct spiritual experience into heresy and submission into supreme virtue. Let us return to that primordial scene described in the Apocryphon of John. Yaldabaoth and the archons form the physical human being, Adam, but this creation remains inert, without true life. Sophia, moved by compassion, persuades Yaldabaoth to breathe his own pneuma, his spiritual substance, into the human. Yaldabaoth, in his ignorance, obeys, not realizing he is transferring the very divine spark he had unconsciously received from Sophia. The moment the pneuma enters Adam, the human being becomes something the demiurge never intended. A soul imprisoned in matter, yes, but carrying within itself a spark of the divine that is superior to the material creator himself. When Yaldabaoth realizes what he has done, he reacts with fury and terror. If humans discover the truth about their inner divine nature, the entire system of control will collapse. Therefore, they must be kept in a state of forgetfulness. The strategy is multifaceted. Offer material pleasures and sufferings that consume attention. Teach complete identification with the body and its needs. Create belief systems that place divinity always outside, always distant, always mediated by external authorities. This pattern appears consistently across spiritual traditions that recognize the matrix of control. In Buddhism, we find Maya, the illusion keeping beings trapped in samsara. In Hinduism, the Vedas speak of the veil of Prakriti obscuring Purusha, pure consciousness. Among Sufi Muslims, masters like Al-Hallaj were executed for declaring, "I am the truth," identifying the inner self with the divine. In Kabbalistic Judaism, teachings speak of forces keeping divine sparks imprisoned in material shells. What all these traditions recognize is that a structure of spiritual imprisonment operates in human reality, and liberation comes through direct knowledge of the true nature of self, not through submission to external authorities. When Emperor Constantine convened the Council of Nicaea in 325 after Christ, something changed fundamentally in Christianity. The diversity of the early movement was replaced by orthodoxy. Spiritual exploration was replaced by dogma. And significantly, the figure that emerged at the top of this new hierarchy was modeled precisely according to the archonic patterns described in Gnostic texts, the Pope. The Pontifex Maximus, a title inherited directly from the pagan priests of Rome, became the sole authorized mediator between humanity and divinity. Seekers, we've just launched a new channel dedicated to spiritual awakening and manifestation, The Hidden Path. To welcome new subscribers, we're offering a complimentary ebook, Alignment, 7 Phases of Consciousness Awakening. Get your by subscribing to the channel using the link in the description. Consider the structure that developed. One man, chosen by other men, declares exclusive authority to interpret the divine will. He claims infallibility in matters of faith. He commands an exclusively masculine hierarchy of power extending across the entire earth. He defines what is heresy and what is truth through institutional decree rather than mystical experience. He preserves texts supporting this power structure and destroys those questioning it. For centuries, he kept scriptures in Latin, a language common people could not read, ensuring knowledge remained the privilege of a priestly elite. This architecture of control operates on multiple layers. On the surface, it offers consolation, community, and meaning. But look deeper. It teaches that you were born in sin, fundamentally flawed, incapable of reaching divinity by your own merits. It teaches that doubt is sin, that questioning is dangerous, that submission is virtue. It teaches that salvation comes through belief in the blood sacrifice of an external savior, not through awakening the divine spark that already exists within you. Compare this with Gnostic teachings found in the Gospel of Thomas. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. This is a radically different message. No mediator is necessary. No institution is indispensable. Salvation is self-knowledge, gnosis, the direct experience of the divine dwelling within you. This message fundamentally threatens any power structure based on mediation and control. That is why it had to be eradicated. When dissidents arose questioning this mediation, from the Cathars in medieval France to the Gnostic Bogomils in the Balkans, they were hunted with genocidal violence. In 1208, Pope Innocent III launched the Albigensian Crusade against the Cathars, a Gnostic Christian movement teaching that salvation came through direct gnosis. When the Crusaders captured the city of Béziers, they massacred between 15 and 20,000 people. When a commander asked how to distinguish heretics from the faithful, papal legate Arnaud Amalric supposedly responded, "Kill them all. God will recognize his own." The Cathars taught that anyone could achieve gnosis through dedicated spiritual practice, that no priest-administered sacraments were necessary for salvation, that women could serve as spiritual leaders equal to men. Their message was spreading rapidly through medieval Europe. Had they continued, they might have fundamentally altered the course of Western civilization, reintroducing a spirituality of direct experience instead of mediated authority. That is why they had to be completely destroyed. The Inquisitions, spreading across Europe from the 13th to the 19th centuries, created a regime of intellectual and spiritual terror where questioning official doctrine could mean torture and death. Among the victims, a disproportionate number were women accused of witchcraft. The witch hunts killed tens of thousands of women practicing traditional healing, herbology, or maintaining knowledge of the ancient nature gods. They were the last bearers of pre-Christian traditions where the divine feminine was still honored, where Sophia still had a voice. The suppression of Sophia, the feminine wisdom, is intimately interwoven with this patriarchal architecture of control. In Gnostic traditions, Sophia was not merely a mythical figure, but an active force in the cosmos and in the human psyche. She represented divine intuition, wisdom that comes not from external authority, but from deep inner knowing. In many Gnostic texts, it is Sophia who feels compassion for humanity, trapped in the demiurge's creation. It is she who sends the Savior, often identified as Christ, not to establish a new hierarchy of power, but to remind humanity of their true divine origin. In Pistis Sophia, one of the longest surviving Gnostic texts, she is described as falling through the lower realms, losing light, but eventually being redeemed and restored to the pleroma through true gnosis. This myth carries multiple layers of meaning. On the cosmic level, it explains the existence of the material world without blaming the supreme divinity. On the psychological level, it represents the human soul trapped in matter, but retaining a spark of the divine that can be awakened. And on the historical and social level, Sophia represents precisely what was systematically suppressed by the rise of patriarchal religions: feminine wisdom, intuition over dogma, direct experience over mediated authority. Observe what happened to feminine figures in canonical scriptures. Eve is blamed for humanity's fall, becoming the archetype of woman as temptress and source of sin. Mary Magdalene, who in Gnostic Gospels is the principal disciple of Christ, the one who understands his deepest teachings, is reduced in canonical tradition to a redeemed prostitute, her spiritual importance erased. The Virgin Mary herself is venerated only in her passive purity, never as an active source of wisdom or spiritual power. The divine feminine, so central in ancient traditions, from the Neolithic mother goddess to Isis in Egypt and Inanna in Sumer, was systematically banished from the official religion that dominated the West for 2 millennia. This suppression was not accident, but structural necessity. Sophia's wisdom threatens patriarchal order because it cannot be controlled by decree or dogma. True wisdom arises from experience, from contemplation, from direct connection with the divine. It cannot be conferred by hierarchy or ritual. When Jesus says in the Gospel of Thomas, "I am not your master, because you have drunk and become intoxicated from the bubbling spring which I have measured out," he is acknowledging the spiritual autonomy of the seeker, the possibility of direct gnosis that requires no permanent mediation. Consider the symbolism encoded in the architecture of power itself. The Vatican sits on Vatican Hill, a site that in ancient times was dedicated to the goddess Cybele and housed oracles speaking prophecies from the earth goddess. When Christianity became the official religion of Rome, this feminine sacred site was appropriated and transformed into the seat of an exclusively masculine hierarchy. Sophia, the divine wisdom, was literally built over, her voice silenced beneath layers of patriarchal stone. The papal title Pontifex Maximus is particularly revealing. This was the title of the high priest of the Roman pagan religion. When Christianity became the state religion, this title transferred seamlessly to the Bishop of Rome, the Pope. The word pontiff comes from Latin pons, meaning bridge, and facere, meaning to make, the maker of bridges between humans and gods. But in the Gnostic understanding, no such bridge is necessary. The divine is not separated from you by an unbridgeable chasm requiring priestly mediation. The divine spark exists within you, always accessible through direct inner knowing, through Sophia's wisdom awakening in your soul. Now, if we allow these ideas to truly penetrate, the reality around us begins to look different. The matrix of domination that so many feel but few fully comprehend reveals itself not as modern conspiracy theory, but as precise description of an archetypal structure of control operating for millennia. This matrix is fundamentally spiritual, a prison of consciousness maintained by beliefs about the nature of reality, about who you are, about what is possible. The Gnostics of the 2nd century saw this with crystalline clarity. They taught that the first step toward liberation was recognizing the prison. The second step was identifying the guardians, the belief systems, and social structures keeping the bars in place. And the third step was awakening the spark of Sophia within one's own soul, that inner wisdom beyond the reach of any external authority. This is Gnosis, the liberating knowledge that cannot be given, but only awakened. No pope, no priest, no institution can grant this to you or take it from you. It is yours by right of divine birth, your inheritance as a fragment of the pleroma temporarily trapped in matter. In our contemporary world, the matrix of control operates through new mechanisms alongside the old. Mass media programming consciousness with consumerism and materialism. Educational systems training compliance rather than critical thinking. Economic structures ensuring most people are too exhausted from survival to pursue deep spiritual inquiry. Technology offering constant distraction, filling every quiet moment with noise, preventing the silence in which Sophia's voice can be heard. The demiurge's declaration, "I am God, and there is no other besides me," echoes in every totalizing system claiming exclusive access to truth. It appears in religious fundamentalism, insisting their scripture alone contains divine revelation. It appears in scientific materialism, declaring consciousness is merely chemical reactions, that anything beyond the measurable is delusion. It appears in political ideologies, insisting their system alone can save humanity. The specific form changes, but the underlying archonic strategy remains. Maintain ignorance of the divine spark within, redirect spiritual longing toward external authorities and material satisfactions, suppress Sophia's wisdom in favor of patriarchal control. Yet something is shifting. More people than ever before feel that fundamental wrongness we discussed at the beginning. The matrix is becoming visible. The old stories no longer satisfy. The authorities are questioned. And in this collective dark night of the soul, Sophia stirs. She appears not necessarily as a vision of a goddess, though some experience her that way, but as an inner knowing that there is more to reality than what you have been told. She appears as the courage to trust your own spiritual experience, even when authorities condemn it. She appears as the wisdom to see through manipulations and illusions. She appears as the commitment to truth, even when comfortable lies would be easier. The awakening of Sophia within you does not require joining another institution, accepting another dogma, or following another external authority. In fact, it specifically requires not doing these things. It requires turning inward, into the silence that patriarchal religion has taught you to fear as emptiness, but which Gnostics knew as pleroma, fullness. It requires patient cultivation of inner knowing through meditation, contemplation, and direct spiritual practice. It requires questioning everything, even these very words you are hearing now, testing all teachings against the touchstone of your own deepening wisdom. The practical path is both simple and demanding. Begin by creating space for silence in your life. The archonic forces thrive on constant distraction, on the endless noise that prevents inner listening. Even 5 minutes daily of sitting in silence, observing your thoughts without identifying with them, begins to weaken the matrix's hold on your consciousness. Cultivate discernment. Question authority, especially spiritual authority. If a teaching or teacher demands unquestioning obedience, recognize the archonic pattern. True wisdom empowers your autonomy rather than demanding your submission. Honor direct experience over received doctrine. If your own spiritual experiences contradict official teachings, trust your experience. Reintegrate the feminine divine. Study goddesses from various traditions. Honor intuition alongside reason. Recognize the wisdom in cycles, in receptivity, in the body's knowing. But remember, the goal is not escape from the world into private mystical bliss, The goal is liberation of consciousness for the sake of all beings. This is Sophia's compassion. She fell into the lower realms, not from foolishness, but from love, from desire to bring light into darkness. Your awakening is not for you alone, but for the collective awakening of humanity. Every person who breaks free from the matrix weakens its hold on others. Every person who awakens Sophia within becomes a beacon for those still sleeping. The recognition that supreme religious authority, claiming exclusive mediation between humanity and divinity, represents the maximal archonic principle, is not hatred of individuals, but clear seeing of systemic structures. There have been religious leaders who were genuinely holy people, striving to embody love and service. But the holiness of individuals does not sanctify the structure itself. A system predicated on your fundamental separation from the divine, requiring permanent institutional mediation, is archonic in its essence, regardless of how benevolently it is administered. The truly revolutionary act is not attacking these institutions from outside, but transcending them from within through your own awakening. When you realize you do not need a priest to access the divine, the entire structure of religious control loses its power over you. When you awaken Sophia within, you no longer require external authorities to interpret reality for you. When you recognize the divine spark in yourself and all beings, hierarchies of spiritual worthiness reveal themselves as illusions. This is the gnosis that sets you free, not in some future heaven, but here and now, in this very life, in this very moment. We stand at a threshold, unlike any in recorded history. The texts that were buried are now available to anyone with internet access. The wisdom that was suppressed is being rediscovered, reintegrated, and shared globally. The matrix of control, though still powerful, is becoming visible to millions. The archonic forces sense their time ending, which is why we see such desperation in attempts to maintain control. But the awakening has reached critical mass. Sophia is rising, not just in individuals, but in the collective consciousness of humanity. You, engaging with these ideas, considering these possibilities, means the spark within you is stirring. You may have been raised in religious traditions that taught you to fear this exploration as heretical, satanic, dangerous. But consider, who benefits from your fear? Who profits from your continued dependence on external authority? Who is served by your belief that you are fundamentally flawed and powerless? Not the true divine source, which has no need for your worship or submission, only recognition and reunion. Not Sophia, whose nature is liberating wisdom freely offered, but certainly the archonic forces, both spiritual and institutional, whose power depends entirely on your ignorance of your own divine nature. The choice before you is the same choice that has faced seekers in every age. Will you accept the comfortable prison, the familiar chains, the authorized narratives and approved authorities? Or will you risk everything for the truth that sets you free? The first path is easier, safer, socially acceptable. The second path is the way of the Gnostic, the mystic, the heretic, those who throughout history have been persecuted for insisting on direct knowing over mediated belief. But it is also the path of liberation, of awakening, of remembering who and what you truly are. Sophia whispers in the silence of your heart, in the moments when you know something is true without being told, in the courage that rises when you question what you are supposed to accept. She is the divine feminine wisdom that patriarchal systems have tried to erase but could never fully destroy, because she lives in the very structure of consciousness itself. She is calling you home, not to some distant heaven requiring death to access, but to the kingdom within that Jesus spoke of, the pleroma of light from which you came and to which you will return. If these words have resonated with something deep within you, If they have awakened questions you were afraid to ask, or confirmed intuitions you hesitated to trust, then the spark of Sophia is already kindling into flame within your soul. Nurture it carefully, study widely but wisely, questioning everything. Practice the cultivation of inner silence where direct knowing can emerge. Connect with others who are awakening, but remember that no guru, teacher, or community can do your inner work for you. The path of Gnosis is ultimately solitary, each soul making its own journey from ignorance to wisdom, from imprisonment to liberation. The matrix of control depends on your continued sleep. Your awakening is an act of sacred rebellion, cosmic justice, evolutionary necessity. In recognizing the prison, you begin to free yourself. In awakening Sophia within, you become a liberator for others. In embodying this wisdom in your daily life, you help birth a new world beyond archonic domination. This is the most practical, urgent work facing humanity. The old structures are crumbling. Something new is being born. You are midwife to this birth. So welcome, fellow traveler, to the path of Sophia's wisdom. Welcome to the ancient future knowing that is both the oldest human spiritual impulse and the newest evolutionary emergence. Your journey continues beyond these words, into the silence of your own being where the true teachings await. May you walk in wisdom. May you kindle the spark into flame. May you remember who you are and help others remember. The liberation of humanity begins with you, here now, in this eternal present moment where Sophia whispers, "Wake up." If you enjoy our content and want to
Hi, Seth. Hi, Felicia. You're
Hello, Fran.
unmuted.
Hello,
There you
Joe.
go. Okay.
You're there. Everything turned out okay with the bus?
Woo! No, but
Oh,
uh,
oh dear.
so we got the mechanics all the way out there and got them all ready to go, and they turned the key and it started right up again.
Wow.
So it put us really late though. So we ran really late and still had to do our other schools and everything. So anyway, yeah, I guess it did turn out okay in the end.
You did great. You did great.
Hello.
Yeah. Well, do we have any birthdays?
There's a whole list of them.
Okay. Are you ready for it? Can you do it?
Am I pulling them up? Oh, there they are.
Yeah. Are you
They'll
ready?
be up in
I
just
think
a second.
someone's pulling them up.
Okay.
There we go. We're still trying to get all this together and learn it.
Okay. Well, you're doing fine.
Yeah, will it be on the screen, Seth?
Yeah, it's scrolling.
Let's see. Where? Let's see.
Okay,
There it
here
is.
we
Coming
go.
up.
There it
There
is.
it is.
Thank you, Shauna.
All right. November 1st, we have Tyler Ahrens.
Aaron's.
Aaron's. That makes more sense. Okay. I
Yeah.
won't make that mistake again.
November 2nd, Devin and Dino Tedesca.
November 4th, we have Sherry and Annie.
November 5th, Tom Ross, Allie Doyle, and Caitlin.
November 6th, Michelle Stump.
November 8th, Maria Marciano, John's mom.
And then November 9th, we have John Marciano. What a coincidence. How cool.
Yeah.
And also Amber Huber.
Amy.
Huber.
Amy Huber.
Amy Huber. What did I say?
Amber Hubbard.
Amber.
It's been a long day, guys. Please
You're gonna
forgive me.
get sick of us correcting you.
This is good though.
Yeah.
November 10th, John Briggs.
November 11th, Ryan Aiden.
November
That's a
13th.
misprint.
Oh,
Sorry, it's a misprint. That's A-N.
A.
Ryan A-N.
A-N. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll,
I'll
we'll,
give
A-N.
we'll get
Ryan
yeah, we'll
Aiden.
correct.
Sounds good to me.
there it is. Thank you, Shauna.
November 13th, Thomas Hodgson, Cheryl Soletto, Missy Chick, and Trevor Wall.
November 14th, we have Shannon Hamilton and Nadine Davies.
November 15th, Kev Gowen and Corey Carter.
November 16th, Steph Woke Up and ExJW Rosie.
November 17th, Matt Kiefers.
November 18th, Bobby Burns and Tanya Smith.
November 21st, Bill Keeler.
November 23rd, Angie Havens and Vicky O'Rourke.
November
How'd you
24th,
find it out?
Sue Carleo and Malia
Oh.
Thompson.
November 25th, Tori, which is David's wife.
November 26th, Margie Stone.
November 29th, Felicity and Elaine Brain Drain. I love that name.
We do too.
And November 30th, Wesley Slot.
Happy birthday!
Slout.
Happy
birthday, Al.
birthday. Thank you.
Did great.
Good job.
You want to tell them all?
Hi.
Tell them happy birthday
Hi.
Birthday.
to
Happy
you.
birthday.
Sing it.
Bye-bye.
Oh, okay. He just wants to buy
Happy
it.
birthday.
Anniversaries.
Happy birthday.
We have anniversaries this month.
Happy birthday to you.
There we go. Happy anniversary time now. On November 5th, we have Rich and Tanya, 42 years. That's awesome.
November 14th, Sam and Beverly Harward, 38 years.
November 15th, we have Tad and Kumi, 30 years.
I know.
November 15th, Sam and Beverly's granddaughter's marriage.
So
Yeah,
a
she's
new
getting-
wedding.
Yes. She's getting married. They're getting married.
Being married. How
Yeah.
cool. November 21st, Mr. CIA and wife with 55 years. Wow. That's
Yeah.
great.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. That is.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to all.
And
So we have upcoming events.
There you go.
November 16th, ExJW Friends Meetup. Would be 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The description says meeting friends old and new, exploring opportunities for social connections and plans for meaningful and rewarding life. Bring a dish. You got to RSVP to the beautiful woman on the screen there, Miss Fran, 315-221-0130. And it says something about the flyer there, but
Yeah,
I
just
guess.
we changed the date. Originally it was going to be
Gotcha.
the 9th, but it's the 16th now. So we've got a new flyer.
All right. So November 16th, everybody, 1 to 4. RSVP with Fran.
Thank you. Let's see, anything else?
We have the therapists, life coaches. It says friends as well. So that's a very, very special thing. So don't forget to come and look at this page, guys. I've recently looked at it again, and there's so many people I'd like to reach out to, but there are so many good resources on this channel. And if you're listening, reach out and use them. I need them. I really do need them. I had a bit of a little bit of a emotional breakdown. So that's been happening more lately with the ExJW world and, disconnecting from old thinking. And it's been crazy, but reaching out to people, reaching out to friends, reaching out to therapists, that's worth it. It's well worth it.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, we need to do that sometimes. Even ones that have been out 40 years, they tell us that they never really processed it. They left the organization, but they may still have a fear of Armageddon, or maybe they have something in their background that prevents them from going forward with something. So
Right.
it doesn't matter if you're just recently out or you've been out 40 years. it's just good to have a therapist to talk to, especially if they understand Jehovah's Witnesses. And all those therapists were Jehovah's
Yeah.
Witnesses. That's
Yeah.
the nice thing about that
Right.
website. And we're trying to get more. So if you know of anyone that is a therapist and was a Jehovah's Witness, please let us know.
And more are coming along too, because more of the witnesses, ex-witnesses, are going, getting training for that, coming in.
Yeah, they're specialized with it now. They have experience, so it's something super helpful. We may know a few we'll send your way.
Okay,
See,
good.
Seth, what you're describing and what everybody is going through that's difficult, it's called a pattern break. You're breaking away from an old pattern, and you're trying to incorporate a new pattern in your life. And it doesn't just fall into place by itself. It doesn't. And the reason why you're doing it is because you believe that there is a benefit in it. And there is a benefit in it. But yeah, you go through a series periods of anxiety and of questioning and of doubt, and that's understandable. That's just so understandable. But we're uniquely designed to be able to do that. Take on
Right.
new patterns.
Yeah, and keep learning, keep reaching out.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, okay. So Jay and his wife, Jay said, "Dang, I just realized I will be married 29 years this month too." So
Well,
we will.
happy anniversary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll find out when.
Jay, just let us know the date.
The date. Yeah. Yeah.
I one quote that will always stick with me about marriage, and it came from an elder, and I really found it funny. And he was a good guy, brainwashed like the rest of us were, but he was a good guy. He always said, "Yep, my wife and I, we've been married 55 years, 20 of them happily," and it cracked me up.
Some things things take time.
That's right. That's right.
And investment, not just time. Investment.
Yeah, and Seth and Felicia, I'm watching the comments too, and we want to welcome Sylvia Lights. She's from Namibia. Namibia.
Wow.
So that is in Africa.
Welcome.
Yes,
Welcome.
she is new.
Welcome. Absolutely.
We've noticed some new people in the chat, so yeah, please let us know where you're from if you're new.
And some questions from the chat and observations from the chat. One of the things, and this shows my entertainment depth. What are X-Men? And are there X-women? If anyone knows.
Yeah, someone made a comment.
X-Men. Yeah.
I think it was Catholic. If you're still on, we had never heard that, and we'd like to know.
I thought it was in some comic books, but honestly, I don't know what it is.
That's the only X-Men I knew from comic books and movies.
Okay.
That is interesting.
Okay. Well, the point was made that given the abilities that we have with an internal nature, a divine nature, internal, that we should all be X-Men. Now, I get the impression that's pretty good, I guess. But my question was, what's an X-man versus an X-woman? Or is there not an X-woman? So I don't, just some questions. And some of the interesting thoughts in the video that brought out the philosophy in the ideas that are laid down in this gnosis information. It actually explains what is going on and what's been going on in religion for thousands of years. in the damaging and controlling nature that's been happening. See, it's kind of in contrast with it. And we of course, are examples of the damage that it's done. The religion, far from being beneficial, has been damaging. One really blatant example of that we just found, analyzed last night was the movie called Spotlight. And Spotlight has to do with the the information that was the, the newspapers breaking the story of priest pedophiles, Catholic priest pedophiles, and hiding pedophiles for for as long as they've been present there. The journalistic journey that they took in breaking that story is very interesting, and it parallels so much what is probably taking place now with Jehovah's Witnesses and other religions, not just Jehovah's Witnesses, with the uh, child abuse and trafficking that's been taking place. It just rings true. It rings true. It's not like a story that that we heard. It's something I lived through in the Catholic religion. I grew up in the Catholic religion, Catholic kindergarten, Catholic grade school, Catholic high school, and I saw what the altar boys and the priests with altar boys was all about. So no one has to explain to me that I think they said 1/3 of, was it 1/3 of the Catholic priests are into that damaging activity.
Yeah.
And of course, then what they do is they hide it. They 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 just shuttle them around to different places so they can't catch up with them. But
Right.
that's what that story dealt with. They caught up with them, and they came down on them. They put away a lot of the priests, and now the Catholic Church is spending massive, probably billions, to cover for some of the damage they've done. Well, and there's no doubt in my mind that the other churches are going to follow suit. No doubt in my mind at all. No doubt at all. And I think we're watching that take place. Interesting thing too, as I was watching the video, what's going on in Sweden now. Sweden is standing up for the values of Sweden, of the Swedish government, which views children to be protected and not to be psychologically damaged, psychologically abused by the shunning practice, as well as other things that Jehovah's Witnesses practice. Well, that to me models the Sophia principle in philosophy of love extended and healing nature of the philosophy of what that government is trying to put forth. That's something we can live with, as opposed to what the religions have done is dominated and damaged people because of their male-oriented control. You see, there was the contrast between the female, nurturing, protective, caring, contrasted with the male, dominating, abusing control. And that's all coming out now. It's all coming out.
We just want to remind the folks that we only are on for 2 hours.
Yeah, till 9.
And so at 9 o'clock we will end.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to come on and give brief comments,
Yeah.
The link is up at the top, Joe and Fran Garino, the HTTPS, and it'll bring you into the StreamYard. And then all you have to do is turn your device down so we don't get an echo. So if anyone wants to come on, we didn't have a specific guest tonight. We asked someone, but they were not able to come on. But, you know, sticking with the topic about gnosis, your divine knowing, we had some good comments. What I liked about it was that, unlike Watchtower told us what we could read, what movies, you know, very restrictive. But the gnosis is the intuition within us, listening to ourselves. The divine is within us. If we, you know, I mean, obviously, not being a really bad person, you know.
Okay. Well, I suppose it could be really bad persons
Right.
if they're infected by some
Right.
bad ideas.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, in your quiet time, you answer yourself. Think of the laying in bed in the dark at night, quiet. It's just you and your quiet thoughts. And if you listen, you will hear things from yourself. You know, nagging thoughts, um, all kinds of thoughts, some troubling, but some that raise an awareness in you that cause you to rethink what you're doing and to make adjustments in your life. That's you. See, we don't have to wait around. If we were brought up in the middle of an, a, a, an environment, in the middle of the earth, woods, whatever, would we wait for someone to come along to tell us what we should know? Would we wait for that? Or would we reflect on things? Would we sense things? Would answers come to us? What do you think? Are we are we just poor souls that need to wait until the priest comes along, until the governing body comes along and tells us what to think and what to do, or until the Pope, or until whatever gurus is that our life? Is that what we are? Um, or are we something? Are we something greater than that? And have we been basically suppressed because of that ability that we have?
Yeah. One way we know that we've been suppressed is when we try to interact with people
Try and share
in
that.
a social way,
Yeah.
and we may have difficult times in social environments. Hi, Matthew.
Hello, Matthew.
You're muted.
Yes.
I like your background. Beautiful
Well,
artwork.
it's nice to be with you all. That's all.
Well,
Yeah.
any reactions to what we saw? And maybe even you know what X-Men are too, Matthew. Because I must admit I'm a little
It is. It has to do with the movies.
the movie.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
missed
think
the movie.
the comic books thing is interesting because this year, especially, there was an interesting precedent that was set called the Psi Games, PSI.
Ah.
And one of the persons that was leading that is PhD Smith from Stargate. So some of the things they were doing was slight, what do you say, PK phenomena. So that would fit into your X-Men or X-women or others. But it was very interesting. Dr. Jeffrey Mishlove was there to disprove what was going on in the Psi game. So they would put blindfolds on people and they would get them to read text using mind sight. So Paul Smith, for a long time when he was working at SRI under the United States government, you know, that mind sight. I reported that at Bethel 25 years ago. And of course, the Zimbabwean Bethel was talking about, the body being the temple. And I thought that was just normal spiritual development. I remember that, and being very upfront about it, not realizing that threatened the system. But I think, Joe, what we had there was we had an unusual situation in Zimbabwe because it was fairly insular due to sanctions in the country from the transition from Rhodesia to Zimbabwe. And in a way, it kind of went in an authentic way until, of course, New York and Pennsylvania then inserted their own personnel to kind of clean it all up and get it, according to them, on track.
I've got it. Okay, with that in mind, Matthew, would it have been better off if they just minded their own business?
Yeah, because you had authentic people that were incredibly developed. But, Joe, I think on working in the Shona side and the deaf community, it's very intuitive.
Yeah.
Because that goes into like your Eastern spirituality and your Peruvian spirituality, all of that. And of course, in Africa, a lot of the things from medicines to psychology, that's influenced persons like Jung.
Right.
I mean, going into that video here, how much of that gnosis influenced Jung, which now is the de facto standard or for treating persons with psychological ailments from William James to now. Well, a lot of it was coming from Africa,
Right.
gathering that information from the late 1800s. Charles Henry Cordier, an ethnologist, but looking at the different races of humanity throughout Africa, from Zulu to Ethiopia,
Right.
and gathering that information. So your top tiers knew this.
Well, okay. Obviously, they're aware of the different philosophies and the different ideologies and the beliefs and the value systems and the powers of these different cultures. The society knows that. They know all these because they research them. So how are they? Where does gnosis fit in for individuals in view of the fact that each different culture possesses this kind of power for their culture? I mean, who
Joe,
gets the,
I saw the old Dwelling Together in Unity manual, the pre-2000 version,
Yeah.
which you can't find it. You can find other versions online in archives, but the pre-2000, I can't find a copy of it. They really did a good job on eliminating it.
Yeah, I bet they did.
Yeah, but I mean, that had the whole awakening process, because if you'd been reading your Bible and going through, the Watchtower programming, which is essentially Enochian and it's based on Gnosis and all of these things, the idea was to amplify those abilities, but using the JW narrative.
Oh.
So it was still confined and it was still controlled.
Well, so we're talking domination. I mean, this is domination.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the culture, would you say that different culture needed any input from any outside source? Did they need somebody coming in and directing them? Did they need someone like the Watchtower to come and quote unquote unify them or to bring them into agreement? Did they need that, or was that just what the Watchtower wanted?
The thing is, it's also a divided system, Joe. And look, I mean, I don't have all the answers. I can just give you experiences and a point of view from what I saw and what I experienced in the various cultures, Shona, Chichewa, all of this. It's just a mess because it's divided by those that are driven by ego and that are driven by power. So that's the darker human nature. So if you want to tie it into gnosis, or if you want to tie it into the theosophy, then they're saying, well, we don't look at it as good and evil per se. We look at it as, well, Matt, did you have bad days? Did you have times where you were driven by ego or that you did something that was selfish? Well, it's our human nature that comes through. And that's where it got corrupted in Watchtower, or persons say it was corrupted from the very beginning.
Yeah, well, when you mentioned the very beginning, I mean, to me, the beginning where man started dominating man to his injury was Nimrod. I mean, Nimrod must have had a very big ego, and he was trying to achieve something that obviously he could not do alone. He needed people. And so he basically dominated whoever he could to get them to come and work for him. Come and work for me, I'll feed you, I'll take care of you, and if you don't come and work for me, I'll come and kill you. He made it simple for people and dominated and started the domination that way. Well, that doesn't fit in with the idea that we are creatures with our own personal awareness of the divine. That basically hijacks and defies people of exercising who they are. And I can't help but feel that that's what's going on right now.
So Joe, I can give you something to support that. We've got somebody in the chat that's in Namibia.
Yeah.
So it's really, I forget the name. Sorry about that, but I saw there's somebody from.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Sylvia Lights, but she had to go to bed. It's very late there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's 3:13 in the morning.
Yeah,
so
where you are too, right, Matthew?
Yeah, you got some lateness there.
But you're doing really important work here. But so where she is in Namibia, there are 100,000 or less sand people. Now, when a sand person gives birth, the child is on the ground and they are absorbing the red soil. And you go, what are the natural abilities? Well, it wasn't that long ago. There were 200,000 sand people.
Wow.
Now, in the 1800s, early 1900s, you would get a license and you would shoot them as vermin.
Oh my God.
They were not considered human because, and of course, when we look at it, we go, oh, well, why is that? Because it threatens the whole power system. Because this is a person who still has the natural abilities. They know, go dig up a root here. They can forage. They can live off the land. If I go and I work with those people, they say, Matt, you smell, man. You're not even conscious of your own scent and how you can chase the animals away and all of this.
Yeah.
So they're very in tune with their natural senses, their natural abilities, and the language also is intuitive. Like I think of Shona, Chiedza, just one word can mean so many things because you're connected by sight and you're connected by a spiritual connection.
Yeah.
And you're able to interpret intuitively what that means, and your vocabulary becomes a lot less.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to use a bit of a taboo word. You have a telepathic connection. You're linked by the heart. The culture is...
Who said that was taboo?
Well, it's just the experience, isn't it? I mean, society is not really quite ready for that, to say, well, I open up or say all of my thoughts are transparent, or all of the things, to my intimacies. I think that's the vulnerability, is going, oh man, your intimate thoughts, are they not guarded? And saying, well, you shouldn't actually fear those kind of things if you're working on a heart that isn't crooked.
Right.
All of these things, how we're birthed, to our sexuality, things like that. I think that's the fears that persons have about having these kind of connections. And the sand people, they don't have clothing. They're walking around with very, very little clothing. And in the culture, you don't see that. There is a perversion. More or less, I would say you could equate it to walking into a gym. You don't stare at somebody, for instance.
Right.
You know how to look down or change your gaze.
Right.
So a lot of those things are in your body language, and they go, well, that's reflective of your mental state or of your heart condition. And I look at that and I go, well, okay, I don't want to elevate the people to something that is unrealistic. It's got their own problem.
But you have to acknowledge the contrast and the value. You have to, because the question is, well, how did we miss that? Why did we miss that depth of being that kind of a human? It's answered by the religions which dominated us. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. Hello,
Hi, Gail.
Good evening.
Hi, Gail.
Hi, Malcolm.
Things
Hi.
pretty good.
Huh?
Are things better with your daughter?
They just gave her 30 more. They gave her 30 more days.
Wow.
That's not better, is it?
Yeah.
Is it beneficial in any way or no?
Yeah, because they're trying to get into our program.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Why am I echo? What am I keep trying. I don't know which one to shut off.
We're okay.
Do you have?
We don't hear it on this end at all.
You don't? Oh.
No.
You sound all right, Gail.
I was just gonna make a joke. Remember James Brown? Remember James Brown?
Papa's got a brand new bag.
No, this is a man's world.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And it's nothing without a woman. Then it's nothing without a woman.
Well, where did man come from?
Yeah. Where'd he come from?
You asking me?
Well,
Just like
come on.
Anybody.
Every one of us.
We'll figure out one day. That's what I believe. We'll figure out one day.
Every one of us came from
How
a
can I?
woman.
We came from a woman,
Every one of us.
right? We didn't
It is
come from a man.
2025. You know how that goes.
Oh, I see. You're telling me there are alternatives now?
How can I get rid of this?
So, Joe, when we look up at the various nebulas in the stars or the galaxies, there's the Butterfly Nebula. I don't know if you are familiar with that.
I never heard that one. Okay.
But you look at it, and I'm going to put it into the new flash of light from GNOSIS now, where the temple is the body. But now looking at well, I'd like to confirm that. I just hear that in the chat.
I missed that. So they're maintaining now that the body is the temple?
Which was very taboo, yeah. Apparently that's what's coming up. But we need to confirm that one, because that might just be hearsay.
Yeah.
But looking up at like the Butterfly Nebula, I'm going to put it into our biological terms. It's like a womb. You look at it and you can identify this is a womb. Yeah. And from that womb, it shoots out stars. Wow. It births stars. Wow. So there's your Sophia, there's your divine feminine. Yeah. You see it in the cosmology.
Yeah.
We lost Gail. What happened, Gail? Did we scare you?
I think she got off because of the echo. She may be trying to
Oh.
get back on.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. Any suggestions for her, Seth? For the echo?
Keep trying. I don't think anything unless she has another tab open with YouTube on it in the background.
Okay.
Hello, Linda. Thank you for that, Matthew. I didn't know about the
Okay. Hi,
butterfly.
Dale. Hi, Debbie. And
Hey.
Linda.
Hello. It's good to be here.
Good
Hello,
to
Nice to
be.
see you.
Nice to have you here.
Any reactions to anything?
Well, we sent the video to you, Linda, ahead of time.
Try
Yeah.
one more time, Gail. If you're listening, try to get on one more time, and we'll see.
Yeah.
And if Gail can hear us, she would need to turn off YouTube. You need to
Sorry,
turn off
Gigi.
YouTube while you're on StreamYard. Yeah.
You still have the echo, Gigi?
No, it's still doing it. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I do.
You sound clear to us.
You're very clear to all of us. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're coming through with no echo.
I'm glad I'm clear to somebody. Oh, good.
It may change.
I
Linda,
missed the
go ahead.
video.
Hi,
Hello,
Linda.
Debbie.
Hi, Linda and Debbie.
Hi.
And Dallas.
To get rid of the echo, you want to exit YouTube, but remain in StreamYard. You
Can
do
you
that.
exit YouTube, Gigi?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, and then it shuts me right off.
Oh, okay.
Well, you sound okay here if you don't mind hearing your echo. Debbie, you said something. We missed what you said.
I missed the video. I was in the. We have to go to the dining room, the big dining room now to eat, and
Yeah, I can send it to you. I'll send it to you.
they were supposed to be there at 5:30, and then they didn't even serve us till after 6:15, and
Oh my
so I
goodness.
kept saying I gotta go, and I get kind of irritated with the new thing that they're doing because I don't feel like sitting up that much.
Oh
I did
yeah.
get a new wheelchair today.
Oh, good.
Well, yeah, sort of good.
Sorry, but
Sort of
The
good.
legs, I can't. The legs on it, I can't use them, and they're gonna have to bring a footrest because the wheelchair will not even get a little bit in the bathroom at all with the legs on it, and I had to have them come take it off. And I mean, it's a pretty color. It's got a great seat in it because they got me the Roho cushion that I needed, you know. And I went to my other doctor today. I thought she could go back to doing my pain medicine, and all because of the one day that screwed my life up a few weeks ago. Remember about my son's birthday that Friday. I ended up in the hospital unconscious. And then I just saw the paperwork today that they had admitted me with drug induced psychosis. And I'm like, what? What? And it was a med mix up. I'm mad about that too. And I'm mad because somebody here put their 2 cents worth in and said, oh, she's like that all the time. Well, that's bullshit. I'm not like that all the time.
No,
And
we can hardly shut you up. You don't show up in a comatose state. No, you do not,
no,
girlfriend.
even the administrator, she said, I wish they had talked to me. And she said, and I got turned down for palliative care. And that really, really crushed me last Friday because I was so excited that I was finally going to get some relief that day. And they told me no. After I had already met with them that Wednesday, everything was fine. And then, and I was like, why? And I just busted out crying. I went through an entire box of Kleenexes right there. I was crying so hard. And they put in the records. I was yelling. All I did was, while I was bawling my eyes, that was in why can't you help me? I was just devastated. It was like they
Can I
could
ask
have
you
taken a
something?
stake and went through my heart. And the administrator here, she said, "Why did?" She said they should have called me. She said I can call them. This is ridiculous. And then at least the doctor I saw, the doctor even got in trouble over what happened. Um, and because one of them med aides here that's not a nurse, talked to them on the phone and said, well, she's over medicated and she's
Hi,
like
Apple
this all the
Pie.
time. Hey, Dakota. Uh, anyway, the whole thing has been a mess and it kind of locked the doctor's hands with red tape. And at least she went and found a muscle relaxer today because my right leg, it's like almost the whole leg is almost paralyzed now from the muscle spasms. It's so hard. And
Gosh.
I'm crying all the time now. And
Yep. Amazing.
I broke down again today in the doctor's office. And she said, I'm so sorry. She said, I'm empathetic to your situation. I really care. She said, but I can't do anything but go up on the muscle relaxer. And she said, go ahead and go back to the pain clinic since she's also walking at the pain clinic doctor and go on ketamine. And it's infusions of ketamine. And she said, but at least try it. And I said, the thing is, I can't go through all those IVs because just to be in the ER, it takes like 5 times to get an IV because my veins collapse
Oh, jeez.
or blow or whatever. And I said, if y'all will put in like a midline, I can't get a
Right.
central a corticap, in my chest because of infection risk. But if they can put in a pig line or a midline in my
Yeah.
arm, I said, okay, I'll try it because at this point I'm desperate. I
Yeah.
really am.
We
And
wish we
the
could help
nurse
you. Doc.
here, the my administrator today, I said, I just want comfort care. There's no cure for anything that's wrong with me. And she said, technically, I do qualify for hospice. And I said, but you're supposed to have 6 months or less to live. She said, no, you can go up to 2.5 years
Wow.
on hospice. And I'm like,
Right.
okay. So I'm like, then I mean, it doesn't matter. I still have to meet with a bunch of
Oh,
people
it'd
to
be
get
better for
approved for that. Everything is
why
so
don't you tell her
much
about
red tape.
other stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Just tell her.
Debbie. Yeah,
You tell her.
that might be a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, just to have the care. We
Yeah.
just have some other people coming
Yeah.
on.
Take a
Um,
breather, Debbie.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
Linda and
and
Yeah.
Richard and
Richard and
Fallen. Yeah,
Fawn.
hang in there, Debbie.
I'm
We're
just
here.
gonna
Welcome
find
Hey, y'all.
everyone.
Well, hi there. Hi, Ashes. Hi, Rich, Linda, and hi,
What's up,
Deb.
Dallas?
Well, hi there, Ashes. Well, hi, Debbie. How's Deb? Deb, I'm just so sorry about your ordeal there. I'm just so it's just so sad.
Thank you.
Oh,
You're going to break through. You're going to work through something, Debbie. They're going to figure something out, and it's going to turn somehow.
Hey, I have
Somehow.
good news. I've been 3.5 months sober, y'all. And it's real.
Well,
wow.
that's
Good.
good for you.
It's
Yay!
real this time.
Clap,
I'm not
Coda.
going back,
Clap.
guys.
Woo-hoo. Clap.
I'm not doing those drugs
Yay!
ever again. I'm done with that lifestyle. I just want to be myself, living my life, best life ever.
So,
Whoa, beautiful.
Fallen, just for the benefit of others that are listening, what helped you? What would you
Happy
say?
birthday!
wow,
Happy for
there,
you.
Dakota.
Well, I would
Fallen,
say
what
getting
do you
out
think
of
helped?
this. I would say getting out of the toxic environment that I was in when I was homeless, and now that I got my own house, like I got responsibilities now, and like, you know, I got a job now, so it's like I got a consistent schedule.
Wow.
Like having a consistent schedule helped me, and having a home helped me. So I would say that, you know, getting out of the
Good
environment.
for you, Fallen.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy for you.
I mean, even when I did had a home, it was hard, but it was basically just, like I say, having a consistent schedule, and like, I guess, you know, like you got therapy. I got therapy and stuff. So I don't know. That's what helped.
Good for you.
Colin, I want to tell you something that you need to hear. We're really, really proud of you. You're doing a great job, and we're so proud of you.
What? Well, I'm real happy for you, Ashes. I am.
Thanks. Yeah, I stopped going to the bars too. That's another thing that helped. I don't go to the bars like I used to.
Yes, and I think you go to the gym instead, don't you, Fallen?
Yes. Oh yeah, the gym helps. Going to the sauna every day. I made that a thing.
Well, remember, there ain't nothing wrong with having certain things in moderation.
Right, but I just don't
Well,
want
if
it.
you
I
have
don't
an
want it anymore.
addiction,
Like
you want
not
to.
until I'm 50.
If you've got an
Addiction, that's
addiction,
another
Dallas.
thing.
You got to stop
Dallas,
promoting the gym though, because Felicia is trying to get me to go.
Oh,
Good.
yes, let's not promote the gym. So homeboy over here won't love.
There's the couch over the gym.
I like the couch. The couch is a good. Hey, I do a sit up every morning when I get out of bed.
Goodness. I'm proud of you, sis. I'm proud of you.
Very proud of you.
I tell you.
Yeah.
Yes, Dakota's proud of you.
Yeah,
We're all
tell her
proud of
we're
you.
so happy.
So Fallen, anyone
Oh,
who
thanks.
anyone like Fallen who has made a change, we call it you have to change pattern.
Break pattern.
You have to break
patterns
pattern.
and make new ones.
If you were doing one thing one day, do something different. Just break pattern and you'll feel so much better.
Yeah, and that in itself
and you
will
know
be.
it takes 3 weeks. It takes 3 weeks of doing something every day to start a new habit and get it into practice.
Yeah.
That's how. But 3 weeks of it continually, you'll have a new habit then. But yeah, stay away from the bars because that's another temptation because there's always alcohol, and that's you know if you that can. My son is a drug addict and an alcoholic, or he was in 2019. He was homeless, and I haven't seen him since. That's why I can say I'm really proud of you, Colin, because you're doing a good job, and just don't
Thank
give
you.
up. Really, don't give up.
Yeah, honestly, I don't want to go back to that. I'm done. I don't want to lose what I have. You know, I got a place. I don't want to lose it. You know, I don't want to get a DUI. I don't want to. I think about the consequences. You know, that's what really motivates me too. Is like, if I go back on that stuff, I could possibly get in debt, and I don't want to get in debt.
Yeah.
Plus,
You could also die.
And you probably
And I
don't
could kill
look at
somebody by
anyone.
accident. I don't want to do that.
No, we don't.
Don't never give up, don't never give up because you're part in this family. You're our family.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Richard,
Do you do the serenity prayer, Colin? God grant me the serenity to do the things I can do, and the serenity, let's see, to do the things I can do, or what is it?
Maybe you can connect sometime with.
with Fallen.
Forever Fallen. Maybe that'd be a nice connection.
Richard, we wanted. You came on. Did you have any special thoughts, either about the video, about the theme?
I totally agree with a lot of stuff the video said about religion. I've always harped on religion, how I feel like it can be very poisonous and divisive. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I do agree with a lot of what it says, because I no longer ever want to participate in religion. I just really don't. So,
Yeah.
Right.
You know, if you don't take away anything from that video, what it does is highlights what actually history is, that men hijacked the spiritual, the spiritual direction that women previously occupied as healers.
And that goes back, I mean, that part, it doesn't matter what group you're a part of, that you go all the way back, and that is verified. That is absolutely
Yeah,
verified, no matter
yeah.
what group you come from.
And see, that's how we would have started our lives off on being a part of. That was our natural lives with each other based on that. This takeover took place after, and that's what we were basically raised into, what we were groomed into, we were indoctrinated into. So now,
Right.
if the ideas seem different, well, they are different, but that was our origin. At least it was our world previously.
Linda, I wondered if you had any thoughts.
Yes. So, it was talking about the divine feminine and uh, speaking of her as wisdom and using the name Sophia, which means wisdom. And biblically, in Proverbs 8, if you just read the whole chapter, it talks about wisdom. And that wisdom is spoken of as the Holy Spirit or Sophia. Some think it might refer to the future Jesus or something like that. But yeah, the Gnostic, that group that he's talking about in the video, they they rose up not long after Jesus was here on earth, and they are considered a heresy. But what's unique about them is that they teach that it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, uh, where she was going through all these directions that people were telling her to go on. At the end, you find out that she's been equipped with getting home all along with her shoes. She was equipped. She didn't have to go through the wizard, and she didn't have to direct other people to go to the wizard either. She had it with her all along, and that's the teaching of the Gnostics as well. That it's within you. They speak of it as a spark, and um, it's a myth. And I've even been hearing people speak of the biblical God as being one of the many myths as well. But it's a fascinating myth because just the uniqueness of Sophia and how she was involved in creation and this, that, and the other. But there was something in this video said, and they said we're not suggesting you get involved in a organized religion.
Right.
That
Exactly.
would be distracting. We're actually suggesting you don't, because you have
Right.
what is needed already within you, and it's this special knowledge, which reminds me of the organization, how it says accurate knowledge.
See,
We
and
were
that's
always,
where,
yeah,
and that's where even in the Bible, it gives the true occurrence of man dominating man to his
yes,
injury. And the word dominating means being God over. That's what
yes,
dominating means, to be God over men. Well,
yes,
that's men doing that. That wasn't Sophia. That wasn't the philosophy of the Gnostics. That was the ones that undermined, hijacked, took over,
hmm
became the priesthood, and developed Christianity. Pope came out of that,
hmm
and now we're in the court system for child trafficking and all other crimes, thanks to the men's religions. I mean,
Well,
that's what it
yeah,
turned
and
out.
if women could be in a position to hold men accountable and men holding women accountable, maybe this wouldn't be happening as much. And the men within the Catholic Church that are not allowed to be married and are supposed to
Right.
be celibate is
Yeah.
because they could not have a woman be married to them and have access to the property of the Catholic Church. That's
Yeah.
why they're made celibate or told to be celibate and to not have a wife.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. They're real.
pedophilia is different than an opposite sex attraction, and I'm not comparing the two
No, I know.
at all. A
I know.
perpetrator is a perpetrator, whether they're perpetrating on a young child, an adult, male or
Yeah.
female adult or child.
Yeah.
That's a rapist, the perpetrator. But
Yeah.
I happen to think that scripture we were told in the org about going house to house and door to door. I happen to think of that as like shortly after Jesus left, the apostles were like on the down low. So they were going to these different houses all the time at different nights. So they'd go from house to house and door to door and hiding, getting together and hiding so that they
Mm,
wouldn't be found out.
yeah.
And so at that time that was in people's homes and the women were the ones putting that together. The women's were the hosts.
Yeah.
And so that was going on for quite a while before the men decided that was their role. And of course, they used that whole thing about Genesis and, as though women are too weak and,
Yeah.
and then plus, in case we're not too weak, we're a temptress. And it's our fault that if you look at us, just we got to make out that the women are terrible. But what's within this story that was shared is that this intuition, it kept speaking about the intuition and be, becoming comfortable using that. When you're involved in a high control, high demand group, you squander that. You ignore that. You're trained to ignore that. You don't get to listen to that. But this was encouraging us to. So that I thought that was really cool.
So there's. You sounds like you're describing the antidote to what they've done. See, so many people have come out of that organization, not only Watchtower, but also out of Christianity, Christian religion,
Hmm.
Catholic religion,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
other religion. They've come out of these control groups diseased, injured. There's got
yes.
to poisoned. Well, what's the antidote? Is there an antidote?
Well,
Are we finding an antidote in these alternative theologies or philosophies? Is there an antidote in it? What do you think?
I don't know. I think personally it's different for different people, but if you're involved in a group where they want to convince you that you will not survive without them,
Mm-hmm.
that's a
Oh my God!
dangerous group.
Oh my
That's
That,
right.
goodness!
that
Well,
means
well,
that
the
I
you
point.
will
I am.
Well, the point is,
decision
what's
to
the
find out.
antidote? What's the antidote for that, though, Linda? What I'm saying, what's
Maybe,
the antidote?
what if we were born equipped with what was needed,
Yeah,
or
that's an
along
idea.
our journey we become more equipped or discover
Yeah,
things about her? I don't know. It just
yeah,
depends on who you are and what
yeah,
works for you. In my
yeah.
mind, it's almost as though we look at these different groups and we might even come up with an eclectic um,
Right. Yeah,
group of beliefs. A little bit of this, a little bit of that
yeah.
rings true
Well, I
to
mean,
me. So I'm
well,
going to adopt them, go from
well,
there.
look at the diversity in people. I mean, so there would also, and the diversity in foods. Well, why not the diversity in the way we conduct our lives, but yet in harmony with others and respect for others as well? I mean, you think it's possible? I'd like to think it is possible.
I do too, and I truly believe that going to church and the believing in the God of the Bible and everything is not something that you get to have a relationship because you've hooked up with the right church, but rather you already have a relationship with God. You already have a desire of knowing God, so you gather with other people that have that same opinion,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why you gather with them, not so that you can have salvation. You see
I
what I'm
agree.
saying? When
I
Yes.
they claim
agree,
to be
Yes.
Linda.
halfway to
Yeah.
God, that's a danger zone. You know,
Yeah,
if I always say cult 101, if they tell you that they're God or they tell you that they speak for God, run.
yeah.
All
That's a
right.
cult. Run.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are
Yeah.
looking for a
Yeah.
social group.
Well, we
We
need
talk to so
people.
many
We need each
people
other.
and we say, find a church, find a church where there's community and you can help out and you can do volunteer. But as soon as they are speaking like God and, if you leave, you'll be shunned, well, then you don't want to be part of that.
Yeah,
What you
exactly.
that's not what you need because that's what we came out of.
Yes, that would be toxic. And it can show up. Somebody like that could lead even a PTA group, parent teacher conference,
Oh
and you're
yeah.
there with other
Any
parents.
group.
Yep.
Somebody could
Any
be in
group.
leadership and turn it that kind of toxic. So it's
Any
really
group.
important that we learn these techniques and tactics that are used,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
manipulate us.
What happened to the English?
I agree.
We have a little experience that happened today. We have customers come in, and usually at the end, when we're finished with business, we give them the card that says to beware Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, we didn't even have an opportunity. This couple came in. Yeah, that one's crossed out, and we added things. But anyway, this couple came in, and they were ready to leave their clock, and Joe had looked at it, explained, gave them a whole estimate, and I had
Hmm.
forgotten to put my pin on. So just kind of like, without realizing, I put the pin on, and all of a sudden, the wife says to the husband, I have to speak to you privately. So they went outside. Joe thought it was because of the price of the clock, and
Hmm.
I didn't think so. I thought it was something else. So they came back in, and she said, we're going to change our mind about the clock. And um,
You
she
asked.
said, she said, I saw your button. I said, oh, I said, you're Jehovah's Witnesses. They said, yes. I said, well, we were. I said, the people are lovely, but we found out that there was child sexual abuse in covering it up, and we were in for 36 years. They didn't say a word, but they noticed the pin, and Joe had been working on the clock or
Yeah, I
doing
didn't
something.
see
He was
that.
kind of
That it
oblivious
changed.
to what was going on. So, anyway, they, changed their mind, and we said that's fine. And, it was pretty amicable. And then after they left, I told Joe the reason why is because they saw the pin, ExJWFriends Witness, and they did not want to, you know, have any business dealings with us, which is fine. We respect
Oh
that.
yeah, but now they know.
Yeah.
They know.
Well, they thought you would put a demon in it.
Next time we'll think of that.
Yeah.
Hi, Elaine. Elaine just joined.
Hi. Hi, I didn't want to put my face on. Sorry.
Well, hi there, Elaine. Welcome
Hello. Hello,
on.
everybody. I just had to come on because I find it very interesting. I have been looking into mythology and learning a lot of the terms, and the demiurge is a very weird, weird word. But
How do you understand it? How do you understand it?
okay, well, if I apply it to my own life, because I've always I've always been interested in the subject of the masculine versus the feminine. And I've read a lot of books on it. And I feel like I came to an understanding. I'm a mother of 3 sons. So if I apply it to my life, all of my sons, I had full dominion raising them, right? When they're little. And then as they turned into men, um, I came to understand that almost by nature, the male masculine hormones have to break away from the feminine. So they can't lean on the mom anymore for, you know, living their lives. They have to break out. And when they break out, what was hard for me is I have a lot of wisdom to offer them, but they had to break away from it. And so I'm wondering, but no, I've been able to talk to them in such a way to not threaten them, not threaten their masculinity. And so the feminine side has a purpose, but it's a very difficult thing to have awareness of your femininity and your wisdom as the feminine side, but then to try to, and I've had 2 marriages too, so that's 5 males that I've dealt with in my life. 3 sons, 2 husbands. And I feel like the male that progresses in life becomes self-aware of the feminine side of himself, not of his, because he has a mother, but
Right.
I feel like if he can learn from the feminine side, but how the woman presents it makes a difference. So if she's always challenging him and putting him down.
Elaine,
Huh?
you must have some point of view of the yin yang symbol. Are you familiar with the yin yang?
Well, I think of that when I think of balance.
Yeah.
So when you really face reality about the feminine and the masculine, finding a perfect balance is the goal, but it doesn't always happen.
There's no perfect.
Yeah.
There's no perfect.
Yeah.
No,
But if 2 people in it, like, so marriage, as young people are immature when they marry and they're young, and they challenge one another. I think the female and the male tend to be competitive in a lot of ways. I think the woman's jealous of his strength, and the man's jealous of her wisdom and her internal what do you call it?
Intuition.
Intuition, yeah. So the male, if he's self-aware, he'll say, well, I could use that. I could use her intuition.
Well,
and he could benefit. But some males are too egotistical when they're young, full of testosterone. And they're like, I don't have to listen to intuition. I can do what I want,
Yeah.
So the thing is, the thing about it too is just understanding that even as individuals, we all have feminine and masculine in us. And then when you're dealing with another human being, and you're in a religion and they're telling you your role as the woman, your role as the man. I liked some of the principles that were in the Bible, some of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
But I liked some of them because I felt like they were telling you, be more aware of the other side, there's one that says, be submissive to one another. And I love that scripture because a lot of people get upset. Well, why is it always a woman has to be submissive? And then one elder, I would talk to him and he said, well, I'll show you a scripture. And he showed me a scripture that we are to be submissive to one another. So I think that's ideal. It's not about domination. It's about being submissive to the other one's ideas and the way of perceiving life and using it to your advantage.
I'm going to break in right now, Elaine. The symbol
All
right here. Yeah, we're going to close in about 5 minutes. Thank you.
Okay.
Though. What I'd like to do is just if no one else is aware of the yin yang symbol, just to kind of show it now.
Okay.
And notice there that's interlocking, and also there's portion of the opposite within. And
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and see, and that basically is just an aid to understanding, what we are, and acknowledging it. Usually, when we fight what we are, we don't win. We never win.
No.
We never win when we fight what we are.
Yeah. Watchtower didn't help to become our
No, oh,
authentic
no,
self.
no,
Women
no.
could not be authentic, and men could not be authentic. So there was always that rivalry, and the
True.
woman has to be submissive, and the man is the head of the house, and it causes so many
Horrible,
problems.
horrible,
You know,
horrible.
Mhm.
it's like, no, that's not the
Absolutely
way it's
horrible.
supposed to be. That there's supposed to be a sharing, and sometimes you look to the husband, sometimes you look to the wife,
Yeah,
and you do that yin yang. That was not
Yeah.
matter of fact. That was on our wedding invitation.
yeah, we had that in our wedding.
We were
Oh,
not
you
witness.
did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another little thing that kind of graphic. The difference between religion and spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
See, some folks value the fishbowl. It's protective. It's defined. It's confining, but yet it's secure, as opposed to spirituality, which is more free ranging and free roaming. And so, personally, it's your choice. It is your choice. The
Mhm.
religion that you're in makes that choice for you. So we
Mhm.
have to be careful where we put our feet. We put our feet someplace, and there's laws that govern where our feet are. And so we're not necessarily going to change what happens there. We better conform. So
Yeah.
Yeah. The patriarchal viewpoint puts a big wedge in a relationship that would normally grow, but
that's right.
that wedge stops you from growing in a
That's right.
marriage.
That's right.
So if you're going to be in a patriarchal religion, I advise you not to get married in the religion. If you want to have a real marriage or a real partnership, you can't be
Very good.
doing it under a patriarchal
Very,
viewpoint.
Right.
very, very powerful insight. Yeah.
If we
No,
want, we want to just welcome and say
thank
hello
you,
to
Elaine.
the Loungers
Oh, you're
Club.
welcome.
The Loungers Club just joined us, but maybe
Wow.
he doesn't know that we
Yeah,
end
we end at 9.
9 o'clock, 2 hours.
Oh,
And
oh. All right. Well, you guys
9
need to give it a
o'clock.
second. You guys
yeah,
need to give it a second thought about
No.
keeping it longer again, if you can.
No,
I don't
not
know.
9 o'clock. Oh
yeah.
man.
That's
Well,
sad.
You missed the
Sad.
tell
I'm
you
gonna have to
what,
Let
do
me
my
Can I
own
say one
channel
thing?
then.
you
Let's
guys.
all have a democratic vote on it.
Can
here's
I say one thing to end it on a positive note?
go ahead,
You're
Deb.
talking about the feminine and the masculine. You know, in the beginning, God told man to go to the that to spread their seed to the four corners of the earth, and then she made the earth round. I didn't tell it quite right, but you get the gist of
I
it.
get the point. We got to get together on things.
I was going to say, if
Thank you,
anybody
Debbie.
wants to get together, just go to
Just
Discord.
go to Discord.
You can go. Dallas goes to Discord. Fallen,
You
Jay,
you
just
have the
go on Discord.
opportunity of connecting with each other
Okay.
anytime.
Yeah, and you
I
can have
I
a
I
conversation.
just we need to connect on keep in contact on Discord. We do
Yeah,
more of us.
that's right.
Or get each other's phone number if you can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
talk to each other.
yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
I've gotten a couple of cards and letters
Yeah, let's
from
go.
some of the friends since last
Good.
week, and
We're glad, Debbie.
I really appreciate it because I'm trying not to be real deep in depression, but I am. You know,
Debbie, keep pushing for what you need.
Keep
Keep
your head up,
I,
Debbie.
and look for that. Look for an advocate around you.
Yes.
You need an
yeah.
advocate.
Well, I mean, even the administrator here is going to step in
Sounds
and
like it.
help me. I mean, people are trying to help me, and I understand, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. But it's just that
Yeah.
when you are dealing constantly with unrelenting pain
It's
and the muscle spasms, I barely slept for like a week and a half now because my right leg is already paralyzed from the knee down. But now I can't even move the
That's
top
sad.
of my thigh because of the severity of the spasms in it, and I can't even lift it, my leg, and it's making me more disabled, and I don't want that. And then she said today, well, let's add something on with your depression medicine. I said, no, I don't need more of that. I need the pain control, and the depression will take care of itself. I mean, it's just
Get
that
the right,
people,
get the
I
right,
don't like to say, like,
get, yeah, Debbie, get the right person on your side. You need the right person there.
oh,
You
I
really do.
am, and I'm keeping on doing it, but now they've got me marked over at the hospital because I came in, and she said, "Well, you've come in several times where you weren't mentally coherent." I said, "I was freaking septic. That's why, the other two times that I've been here, where not here in the nursing home part, but that I've been to this hospital, I was freaking septic. That affects your brain. I had a temperature of 104. I mean, anybody's delirious when it's like that. You can't,
You're right,
and
Debbie.
your body is
You're right.
shutting down. But,
Debbie,
that's neither here nor there. I'm fighting for myself. I am.
best
It's
we have,
It's
Coco's.
just,
best,
It's Coco's
best we have
bedtime.
are our
Not meaning to
thoughts.
interrupt, but can Coda say night night?
Good
Tell him
night,
night night,
Dakota.
everybody.
And
Take
Night,
care.
Good
Good night.
night.
night, night,
Night,
Dakota.
Dakota.
Good night,
Night.
all. I love you.
night, guys.
Keep
Bye
living your life
bye.
with love.
Let's go on Discord now.
there you go. Go to Discord. Okay,
Hey
love you
everybody,
guys.
Love
the
Good
you.
night.
Discord, the
Good
Discord link is in
night.
the chat
Wait a
there. We
minute.
do look forward to seeing you there. It's an easy thing to navigate around, and there's lots of help for you guys too. Thank you, Joe and Fran.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Seth
Shauna.
and Felicia. Appreciate you guys being here, and Coda. And thank you to the moderators for watching the chat. Again, couldn't be done without you. Have a great week, everybody.
Keep
Good
living your
night.
life
Love
with
you.
Night,
love.
Bye.
everybody.
Good night.
Night, y'all.